Money Radio, good afternoon, and thank you for joining us. Always a pleasure to get together with Laura Bramnick from TalkRealEstateAZ.com. TalkRealEstateAZ.com. Laura Bramnick is a real estate agent, a lawyer, and a consumer advocate. Hi, Laura.
Hi, Sinclair.
And you've brought a friend back to the studios with you.
Yes, I brought my friend Kim Stamatelos, who's a lawyer and mediator out of Des Moines, Iowa. And she's been on with me before.
Yes, indeed.
And we always find interesting things to talk about.
Kim, welcome back.
Thank you, Sinclair. It's great to be here.
You're also an author.
I am.
The Compassionate Lawyer.
Correct.
Yes. We talked about your book one time.
Yes, we did. And it's available on Amazon.com.
And it's the great oxymoron title, if ever there was.
Some would say so, yes. And my newest speeches that I'm giving out in the legal community are, can a lawyer be compassionate and still be effective?
And the answer is yes.
The answer, actually, at the end of the speech, we conclude you cannot be effective unless you are compassionate.
But I think that's something a lot of lawyers have forgotten.
A lot of seasoned lawyers, yes.
Never learned.
Indeed. The younger lawyers are very enthused about the concept and have said that that's how they want to practice law.
I know you embrace it.
Indeed, as does Laura.
As does Laura. And I describe Laura as a consumer advocate. And I really believe that's true from everything that I have learned with her over the years. She really gets that idea of a compassionate lawyer. But I think one area where the legal profession kind of runs up against the wall in the idea of compassion is when it comes to billing.
Billing is a thorny issue, to be sure.
Yeah, it's hard on both sides. In other words, lawyers want to charge for their time. That's how they earn their living and pay their overhead. On the other hand, many clients don't understand how the billing occurs, and the fees are very high. You know, when you have somebody that charges $200, $300, $400, $500 an hour, that can add up pretty quickly.
And not only that, you're faced with your own ethical boundaries at every moment in time. Do I bill this a 0.2 or is it actually a 0.3? And each time you have to make a judgment call on that, depending on the hourly rate, it can be substantial money that's at stake.
When we start the whole process of billing, when we just start to work with an attorney for the first time, what can we expect? Do we expect to pay for a consultation?
Well, that depends on the lawyer. For instance, if somebody is referred to me, or maybe they found me on my website, you know, they've done an internet search. Because I have my direct line on my website, many times they'll call me, you know, and I'll answer the phone and they'll say, well, I found you online and I have a legal problem that I need to discuss with you. So normally I'll ask them a couple questions. First, I want to determine if I'm the appropriate person for them.
Right.
Sometimes people are, let's say, left real estate in a will, but they don't need me yet. They still need an estate lawyer because the will hasn't been probated, so they have no authority to transfer the property, let's say.
Okay.
So once I determine it's appropriate, then I explain how I do a consultation. That I set aside an hour, and that I do charge a fee most of the time. It depends on the circumstances, but generally I charge $270, which is my hourly rate. If for some reason the consultation runs short, maybe there's some information that is shared that means that maybe I'm still not the appropriate person, or I can give them a very quick answer, then I usually do just bill them for the time that we spend. Many people who call me though do want a lawyer that offers a free consultation, and I do tell them that there are lawyers out there who do that.
Okay. Once we get past the consultation stage, then it's a matter of determining what kind of billing will take place. I usually think you enter into a retainer with an attorney. Is that correct?
That's correct. And in fact, in the consultation, a lot of what you talk about, in addition to the legal information, is how you will be charging people. And you explain to the client what the retainer involves, and a retainer is an amount that you put in a trust account that's regulated by the Supreme Court of the state, And there actually is a little man with a briefcase that can come and knock on your door and scrutinize your trust account. I've had that individual visit my office.
Okay.
And you may not take anything out of the trust account until you have earned it and provided the client with an accounting of how you've earned it. And that's usually described in the consultation. You go over in detail the hourly rate, how you're charging, what the retainer looks like.
And Laura, you were telling me earlier that in Arizona, they don't even call it a retainer anymore.
No, we call it an advance fee. And sometimes I have to explain to a client that that's what you think of as a retainer. So it's interesting because having practiced for so long, I still think of it as a retainer.
Sure.
But we call it an advance fee, and it does get deposited in the trust account. And you have to think of it as, a lawyer has to think of it as, it's not our money when it's in the trust account. And so many times, if I have a client that I'm negotiating a settlement with, that money will go into my trust account as well, because I'm the caretaker of it. So the trust account is a very safe place and very highly scrutinized account that lawyers have to keep very close track of.
You also work a little bit differently because you are a real estate attorney, but you're also a real estate agent. So many times you can work on the purchase or sale of a property, and it can be commercial, residential, land, whatever. You can provide legal advice to someone without necessarily having the meter running.
That's correct. In real estate, the most common way for realtors to be paid is through a commission process.
Mm-hmm.
And so if I'm entitled to a commission because I'm a licensed realtor, I will tell my client that that can save them money. And we talk about what all the ways that I can be paid, and then the two of us together decide what is best for them.
But it's all out front.
It has to be out front. And the biggest problem that lawyers face, and I know Kim will agree with this, is if a case is complicated or if it may not settle. And many of us, Kim does family law,
Right.
But there are many, many times when a party comes in and they are very, very set on what their expectations are. And
I want to talk with you about that next week.
Okay.
Because I want to figure out what happens when some of this goes wrong.
Okay, thanks.
We're talking with Kim Stamatelos and, of course, Laura Bramnick from TalkRealEstateAZ.com, 480-624-2705 to talk to Laura, 480-624-2705. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sinclair.